Hello my friends, welcome to Bookla's channel. In today's video I will show you how to add online booking component for car rental services to your Framer website. I will show you how to create flexible pricing rules, how to create services and resources in Bookla, and how to add and style your component in Framer. So let's get started. For this tutorial I have created a really simple website in Framer for Tesla rental services. So here we have a home page where person can just check all the available models, and for example we want to book a new Model Y. Just click, and here we have a separate page where we have like a picture of Model Y, some description, and also some additional pictures for the car. And also we have a place where we're gonna put our booking component. But before we can put the component here, we need to go to Bookla and create our services and resources. Alright, we are in Bookla, and I have created a new company called Tesla Services, and we don't have any services or resources yet. But let's start creating our resources. And in our case, resources will be our cars that we're gonna rent. Let's just create a few resources. Let's click new resource, and let's create Tesla Model 3. Let's create Tesla Model S. And now, for example, Tesla X and Tesla Y. So let's assume we have only one car for each category, for each model. And in this scenario, so we just added 4 resources. But for example, you have, I don't know, 10 Model 3s, 5 Model S, 2 Model X, and for example, I don't know, 10 Model Ys. And in this case, you need to create as many resources as you have cars in your rental service. But for the simplicity, so let's just create 4 of them. Also, by the way, you can change, for example, color when you create, or you can edit it later. And let's just change the color for our Model Y, and it will be pink. So right now in the resource settings we have 3 tabs: working hours, closing periods, and metadata. So for working hours we don't need to set up anything because our cars can be rented 24/7. For the closing period, for example, if the car is not available, you can create a closing period, for example, for a week or for a few days or even a few hours. So you just decide. Metadata, here you can store just some additional data that you can use, for example, when creating a custom component or for some particular development purposes. So you can store just additional information for any resource or any instance in our system. So okay, we created our 4 resources, and now let's create services. So for the services, we need to create 4 services, 1 for each type of the car. So, but for the simplicity, let's just create one service, Tesla Model Y rental. And here we need to select flexible type, because the duration for how long the car can be booked can be flexible. So it can be like a few days, a few weeks, or even like a few hours. It just depends on your requirements. All right, let's go next. Book interval, so it's just like the smallest interval, but for car rental services 1 hour is okay, because we're gonna set up the limits in our component, and also in pricing we're gonna set up different pricing rules. So just keep it 1 hour and it's fine. Okay, now for our service we need to link the resource, and in this scenario we need to link our Tesla Model Y. And for example, if you have more than one Tesla Model Y, you can link more cars like resources here. So here we also can set up pricing, metadata, and some settings that we have for our service. So for example, the booking policy, by default it's instant, but you can change it to needs confirmation. For example, if you need to confirm booking, or needs a prepayment if customer needs to do the prepayment to make the booking. But for now, let's just keep it instant. And also buffer before and buffer after. So for example, buffer before, if you don't want to let customer book like straight away in half an hour or in 5 minutes, you can just create a buffer, for example, 12 hours, and that customer can't book the car earlier than 12 hours from now. And buffer after is, for example, when somebody like return the car and you need some time period after the booking, for example, to clean the car or something like that, and you can, for example, just set, I don't know, 4 hours after the each booking, and this time gives like additional period when the car is not available for booking. And now let's start with the pricing creation. But before we can go deep into the pricing here on the platform, I want to explain you how the pricing works. To understand how price rules work in Bookla, I will show you this image. Just imagine a waterfall, and every step of the waterfall is our price rule. And the higher is the price rule, the higher is the step. So for example, here we have 3 steps: 1 week, 1 day, and 1 hour. That corresponds to our price rules. And for example, if we have a duration of 8 days and 4 hours, that means that we can apply 1 week rule, then 1 day rule, and 4 times of 1 hour rule. And in total, we'll get $270. And now we can start creating our price rule. So first of all, we need to set the currency. So for example, it will be in US dollars. And also the tax rate, you can set a specific tax rate and also choose like it's inclusive or exclusive. So it's like added on the top of the price or it's already included. But for our tutorial, we don't need to set any tax rate. And now let's create our first price rule. So for example, we can start with defining how much it would cost to book a car per hour. So for example, if customer wants to book a car, for example, like 1 day and 5 hours or 2 days and 3 hours, and for our tutorial, we can use, for example, for duration of 1 hour, we can set the price of $5. Also, we have different limits in our price rule creation. So for example, you can create specific price rules for specific days of the week. For example, on the weekend the price can be higher, but on the weekdays it can be lower. Also by hours, for example, during the evening hours it will be more expensive, or I don't know, or less expensive. But usually these hours options are used for like some short duration flexible services. For the car rentals, I don't think it's required, only if you want to rent something for a short period of time. But for our car rental services, we don't need any limits here. And also you can set the active period. So for example, if during the summer months you have a higher price, you can create an active period, active from and active till, for that particular period. And we have this priority number. The higher is the number, the higher is the priority of this rule. So okay, one default rule for 1 hour is $5. Click create. And now, for example, if we want to create, just to check that we want to book something for 1 hour, and let's choose tomorrow, and we see that, yeah, each 1 hour costs $5. Okay, now let's create another rule for 1 day. So here will be 24 hours and here will be 0 minutes. And in this case, our price, for example, will be $50. And the priority will be a bit higher because on our waterfall, it just goes higher by the hierarchy. Click create. And now let's create another price rule for the week. So right now we can set only by hours. So 1 week it's 168 hours, no minutes. All right, and for the week, let it be $200. So also, for example, we have minimum duration and maximum duration for the rule. For example, when you want to set some specific prices, for example, 1 week for the bookings which total duration is longer than 1 month, you can set a different price. For example, it will be $150 or I don't know, $100, and you can just create like really flexible rules for different occasions. So and you can just experiment with this minimum and maximum duration to create like any rules that you ever need. Okay, and the priority for this weekly rule will be higher than other two. Click create, and now we have our price rules created here, and so we don't need to do anything else in Bookla. So basically you need to create other services for different types of cars that you have, but for our tutorial let's just keep one service. And now let's integrate it into your Framer website. One way how you can integrate Bookla to your Framer website is basically using our Bookla plugin, where you can just drag and drop predefined components. But recently we have open sourced different type of booking components that you can use on your website. And for example, we have a separate category of Framer components that you can use as custom code components in your Framer project. And why we did that, basically you can see the whole source of these components. You can edit them, like modify how you want, or even you can use it as a prompt for ChatGPT, for example, to add some changes. And also it will cover different types of use cases for different occasions. So right now we have a few components that covers like our normal use cases like fixed, flexible, group, ticket, but also we have a rental component here that we're gonna use for our tutorial. So, and it looks like this, where customer can select date range and also start time and end type. So basically user chooses the pickup time and drop off time for the car. And to use the code of this component, so we need to go to the component code and copy the code here. And now when we go to the Framer, we need to go to the asset section, and here in the code click plus and add the new code file, and let's call it booking component, and click create. So by default it's just like a animated square, but we just need to replace the whole code to our code component that we just copied from the GitHub. And now we can go back to our page, select the container where we want to put our component. So we're gonna put it here and go back to assets and just drag and drop it here. So and now we have the default representation of our component. Now we need to adjust it a little bit. So the width will be fill and the height will be fit content, but let's choose the parent component, and the height should be fit the content. So yeah, and now we see that it's placed correctly, and also we need to adjust some settings of the component to for example, we don't need any padding here. Other than that, it looks fine. And also, for example, we can change the selected color, let it be black, and also the button color also should be black. So let's just click, and we see that component is inserted. But now we need to connect it with Bookla, because otherwise, so it just doesn't work. All right, to connect it with Bookla, we need to select our component here and just go down to the Bookla settings, and we'll see that we need to enter API region, API key, and company ID, and also the service ID, the next field. So the service ID is placed separately because you can connect it with the CMS. For example, you will create different pages for different types of cars, and you can just create it in the CMS and connect it with service ID here. So just create a new field. So if you want to need more, you can check out our video about how to connect Bookla with Framer CMS. All right, so let's just start filling these fields. So API region. If you go to Bookla platform, you will see the first letters of the region. So for example, here it's Europe, and we need to select Europe here. API key, we need to go to the developer section, and here the API key is the first step, and just click create API key, and let's call it Tesla key. Here you need to select the client permissions, only these 3 permissions, because otherwise, if you're gonna add, for example, all permissions, somebody who can get your API key, because you're making the front end app and it will not be hard to find out your API key, so it can lead to really bad results. So somebody can use these API keys just, for example, to delete all your services or bookings or whatever. So that's why just use client permissions, these 3 fields. Click create, and now we have our API key. Copy it because it will be shown only once, but anyway, you can create as many keys as you need. Put it here. The company ID, we need to go back to the Bookla, just close it, and here click on the company, and on the top you will have the copy button. Go back, put it here, and now the service ID. Let's go back to Bookla, go to services, and here our service, just copy the ID and put it to service here. All right, now let's check if it works. Yep, it loads available dates, and now let's say we want to book our car for I don't know, 1 week and 1 day. And also, for example, start time, we want to pick up at 8 and return at 2 p.m. As we see, the price is calculated automatically, and as we have 1 week, 1 full week, so it's 200. So then we have another day here, so it's $50, and also we have 6 hours additionally by $5, and it's $280. Click continue, and here we just need to enter the data, first name, last name, and email, and the booking will be done. To preview your bookings, you can go to the Bookla platform and go to the booking section, and also there is like a normal view, like calendar view, but for the long-term bookings we created a separate view for the bookings, so it's the last one. It's a timeline view, so basically it helps you to see the timeline of bookings, for example for the week, or for example for the month, and you can just change months, or you can even use the custom period for that, so it's really handy. And also this form can be edited, so you can just go back to the component setup, and here in custom form you can just add additional fields and create like a longer form if you want to collect some more information about your client. So for example, company, it will be like a text. Just go back, and for example, if we now go to the booking section, click continue, and here you see the company field will be added, and you will see this information in the booking later. And now we can publish the website and check how it looks. But before we doing that, we need to set up the redirect after the booking to show the thank you page. So to do that, we need to select the component, go down in the settings, and here in routes, when we have booking confirmed page, we need to select our thank you page. So I just created a simple thank you page where customer will be redirected. So now let's publish, undraft the thank you page, update. Let's go to our home page and open the website. Let's select our model Y. Here we have a component. Let's just select, for example, 2 dates and just 12. Okay, continue. Let's Igor's and Igor at bookla.com, and company is Bookla. Now let's make a booking, and we are redirected to the thank you page. And now let's go to Bookla to see if our booking is there. So let's go to the Bookla platform. So the week is from 11th, so I suppose yes, it's next week, and we see that the booking is from Monday till Thursday. And you can also, for example, see the timing here by this dragging the blue line. So you just move the mouse and it shows the current time and date according to the time view. As you see, my friends, with Bookla and Framer, you can easily create an online booking system for your car rental services. And also by following this tutorial, you can create different types of rental services, for example, for equipment or for bicycles or for scooters. So basically anything that can be rented by time, so you can use this tutorial. Alright, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Also drop a comment if you have any questions, or maybe you have some other use cases that we need to cover. And also please like this video, and see you on the next one. Bye bye.